What the fuck is the fuck that you hear my war cry? Lyrics banging the body, me like a 4-5, 4-5. I'm a chief, I'm an Indian. I go to war with anyone. My voice like an instrument. I'm in the game, they on the bench. So that mean I'm in the bed. I tell the bitch I'm touching to the lead. I'm about to cop a pin. You echoey at all?
I am not echoey at all.
Okay. Hey everybody, welcome. Yeah, I'm a little echoey. I'm a little echoey.
And what it is we're hearing each other, then we're hearing it through the headphone.
Okay.
That's all that is right there.
All right, we're back, everybody. Welcome to the 2W Intros. This is Monday morning. After the Steelers-Miami Dolphins game last night. Mike, what? I'm losing my mind with this team. What do you think, man?
Kenny 7 picks, baby. That's all I gotta say. Defense, though, they had those drops. That was unfortunate. There's all those interceptions. It was apparently Ike Taylor Appreciation Night.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I tell you what, though, they, those first three drives, to be only down 13-0 after those first three Miami drives, the way they drove down the field the first drive of the game, I thought this is going to be the Buffalo game all over again.
Yeah.
That was my big worry. But defense made some nice adjustments. Tara Austin and Brian Flores, they adjusted well. They held them to 3 points after that first drive. Those picks would have been nice to have those picks because they would have helped field position a lot. But those drop picks led to 0 points by Miami. So that's okay. You would like to have those picks because, you think you'd have big momentum swings and stuff like that after a pick. But, that they led to 0 points by Miami. So it's really not that bad.
Yeah.
It's just something for people to harp on. I thought right there is that they're going to harp on that. And like that 2-minute running that play before the 2-minute warning. People flipping out about that for some odd reason. They took time off the clock. They ran it down after the 2-minute warning. I'm sure we'll get into that later. But this team, it's frustrating. We beat the Bucs last week, and it's looking like it really wasn't that big of an upset because of the way the Bucs have been playing recently. But you think the offense would build off of that, and it did not. It was back to terrible play calling again.
Yeah, there's just no consistency with this offense whatsoever. I don't understand. I don't know if that they have Kenny's hands tied. I don't know if I really don't know what Canada's doing. It really makes no sense. It makes very little sense, if any. He these jet sweeps all game. We're getting 2 yards off. I think that I'd seen somewhere that his playbook's about as big as the Tech Mobile playbook. Like you recall the 4 plays that you had to pick from, and if the defense picked the same exact play, they just crushed you, and it was like it's frustrating. And the thing is, at the end of the day, you really can't pinpoint one thing and why we lost this game. It's just they're just not consistent. They're just not playing good football. There's a million things going on with this team right now. And it's from top to bottom. I don't think and like I mentioned to you before the show, the only area that I would give a star to would be the offensive line, which a month ago I would have never thought would have been the case. But the offensive line is the only group of people out there on the field that's consistently getting better every week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they gave up it was like 1 or 2 sacks, but you can take a look at some of those sacks, and the quarterback ran right into the pressure. Like when we had that big holding call against Dan Moore, run up the middle or just throw the ball away, we won't have that 10-yard loss. But I thought they played rather well. Run blocking, you like to see more from them, but how much is that on them and how much is on the running backs?
Yeah.
Too. But I think the line is. Expectations were low, but even if they were like a mid expectation coming in on them, I think they outperformed. Like you said, they played outside of one game, the Buffalo game. They played rather well.
Yeah,
they had some growing things here and there, but they were still like each week was better and better, except for that Buffalo game.
I mean, Youth, I would say Pat Freiermuth would be another one that I would give a good grade to. He was 8 catches, 75 yards. And even Pickens with 6 catches, 61 yards, and a touchdown. The twin goons, Johnson and Claypool, they both had 5 catches apiece, 42 and 41 yards, no touchdowns. It's really hard after 6 weeks to give people good grades if you're just still this inconsistent. But if I had to give people a compliment, it would be the offensive line and maybe Pat Freiermuth in a slither of Pickens. On defense, Jack had 8 tackles, 2 assists, 10 altogether. They're doing what the Steelers do, and unfortunately, the thing that you have to do is figure out a way to score more than 10 points.
Yeah.
If you don't score more than 10 points, you're not going to win many games in this league. And
No.
Us in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, one of the teams we beat, are the only 2 teams that can't seem to score more than 10 points for whatever reason.
Which, coming from us, there's really not that much of a surprise. But coming from the Bucs, that's a huge surprise with the weapons they have.
Yeah.
So I'm good. Hey, if you want to be a company, let's be in that company that has a couple of future Hall of Famers and some damn good players, I guess. But yeah, outside of the offensive line, Muth, Pickens, I even want to say Terrell Edmonds and Minka Fitzpatrick on defense were the bright spots. Edmonds, he missed that interception, but once again, that interception did not lead to points. Minka blowing up the running back on the goal line in the pass play, saving a touchdown, forcing them to kick a field goal. Huge plays. So, yeah, it's just the team has talent. You saw the way that defense, they locked it up. They, only giving up 16 points to that high-powered offense.
Yeah.
Tyreek Hill and Waddle had some big games. The running back, Morrison, I can't remember his name. He's a good running back. He had some long runs, but they limited everything to just a couple plays here and there. It wasn't a total embarrassment like we thought it would be.
Absolutely. I think a couple of things that I find encouraging as far as this defense goes. They were able to stop the run. Granted, the Miami Dolphins don't have this great running game, but stopping the run has been something that we've had a problem with all the way up to this point. So stopping the run was encouraging, and then also making the adjustments. The adjustments at halftime. Miami from doing what they did in the first 3 drives. Tyreek Hill was basically. Hill was, I don't know how many catches he had. It wasn't many. He didn't do too much. He didn't hurt us. That's one thing for sure. But as far as the defense. The defense ability to be able to step up and make the necessary changes at halftime, and it didn't even go as far as halftime. It was just like I said, after those first 3 drives, and after the first 3 drives, I thought the score was they were going to at least score in the 30s. So, like I said, you got to give kudos to the team, to the defense, to the coaches that was able to step in. Figure out how to stop this team because this team puts up a lot of points. No 2 ways about it. So the defense, you can't take much away from they did a good job. What can you say about a team holding a pretty good scoring offense to 13 points? It
was once they figured out we were playing very soft coverage those first 2 drives.
Yeah.
And I kind of don't blame them because Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle are some of the fastest receivers in the league.
Yeah,
and some of our corners, they're not the fastest. They're fast, but they're not that fast.
They're not fast. They can't catch.
Yeah, right. So they gave kind of like the opposite of Ike Taylor. Ike Taylor was fast but couldn't catch.
Yeah,
but so they were giving up that middle of the field. And like they pointed out on the broadcast, we just started. Okay, we're gonna drop linebackers into that spot. And once we started doing that, those little crossing routes went away.
Yeah.
Every once in a while they'd hit a couple more throughout the game, but like they weren't hitting them like they were those first 2 drives.
Like I was saying, Mike, the way that they adjusted after that first 13 points, that they didn't let up another single point the rest of the game. Got to give them that.
Yeah.
They like I was saying a little bit ago, they they stopped the run. Miami's not known for being this great running team. However, we didn't get burned on the run, which is something that's been happening.
Mm-hmm.
And for 3, the fact that, we made Tyreek Hill invisible, he basically wasn't there. I think the defense, for the most part, did what they needed to do. Now, the offense, on the other hand, the offense is where the problem lies. And I'm going to go right off the top and say that the 5 guys in the middle of the field who's blocking aren't the problem. Not anymore, at least. It's your skill position players. It's quarterback. It's wide receivers 1, 2, 3. It's your running backs. And they all they had semi-successful games. You look at their numbers, but we're not doing enough to win. We're not doing enough to win football games. And that right now seems to be the problem. Special teams didn't kill us this weekend like they did in the past. I think that Harvin had a soft punt early in the game, but besides for that, he really picked it up and started booting the ball. We didn't miss any field goals. There was no muffed, punt returns, anything like that.
Right.
So, at the end of the day, this offense has to figure out how to score more than 10 points. And I don't know. I don't know who it is. I don't know if it is the quarterback. I don't know if it is the coaching. I don't know if it is the coordinator. I just don't have enough insight on the team to know. But at some point, they're just going to have to let, can we call this a throne? Can we call this season a lost season? If that's the case, let the guy throw down the field. And he's going to get his interception. He's going to learn. He's going to learn. Like he was mentioning last night on the game, there's a million defenses, a lot of things you got to recognize once you get into the NFL and learn. So let the guy get out there, throw the ball around. You can't keep throwing these 5-yard passes. It's not working. It's not doing anything for anybody. It's not for us to continue to throw these short patterns, these out of the back. That's the worst thing. Look around the league. We're the worst offensive. Nobody's doing this, Mike. Nobody's struggling so bad to get the ball into a guy who's standing 3 yards off the line of scrimmage. And if it's 3rd and 11, we're hitting 3rd down and 7. At some point between the games, this has to be addressed. They got to go somewhere in a little room, sit down and figure out. We have to be able to go beyond this for 1 of 2 things. For 1, if you want to be a good team, it has to get better. For 2, if we're going to be a bad team and you're going to improve, you got to let the kid do what you got to let him get out there and play football and improve. This situation we're in is not letting us do anything. It kind of has our hands, our hands are tied. And I just don't know what it is that the coaching staff wants. You either have faith in this guy or you don't. And here's my thing. All 3 guys that came in for the quarterback controversy, the competition, they were all throwing these 3-yard passes. They were all. So to me, that says it's coaching. That doesn't say to me that these quarterbacks are afraid to throw downfield, especially Kenny, because he's not. But it tells me that the coaches aren't. They're keeping their hands tied. And for one, like I said, if you either have to shit or get off the pot. You can't have both. You can't just keep continuing to do what you're doing the rest of the season. You're accomplishing nothing. Nothing at all is getting accomplished. Nothing.
I just think Kenny's not the quarterback. He's not going to. I'm looking at his stats right now and compared to some of the other rookies right now from last year and this year. The only other quarterback who's played about the same amount of him is Bailey Zapp up in New England. He has 4 touchdowns, 1 pick.
Coaching's good up there.
1.4 interception percentage. Kenny Pickett's 5.5. Of any quarterback of any repute, had some buzz coming out of the draft. Trey Lance, Trevor Lawrence last year, 2.8.
What are we seeing though by this coaching staff? It's allowing things to get better.
But he's the one. He's the one throwing those passes. He's the one that soft tossed that deep pass to Deontay Johnson that fluttered in the air.
And there's plenty of good passes throughout the game too. We can sit here and we can pick apart every pass. The point of the matter is he's not being able to play football. They do it. They did it with all 3 guys. All 3 guys played the same exact game. So that tells me it's coaching. It's not. He's not afraid to throw down the field because he's not.
You can not be afraid to throw down the field, but when your passes downfield are getting picked off, that's on you. That's
absolutely.
That's you. And he's not proved anything. I haven't seen anything to make me think that he's going to be anything more than an average quarterback. He's not a franchise quarterback. So far through these games, he's done nothing to prove that he's done anything.
Do you realize how small the percentage chances that you actually find one of these franchise quarterbacks that's going to play the way that we're used to?
Yeah, but he's not. When you're picking him in the first round at 20, he better be the first quarterback off the board. pro-ready quarterback that everyone said he was going to be. He's not. He's not. Right?
Who said this pro? I mean, you say this over and over. I've never heard one single person.
Scouts. Pat Narduzzi, all of the Steelers.
I've never personally heard one single person use that term.
Watch all the pre-draft, how he pre-draft everything from scouts, league execs. Oh, he's pro-ready.
I think mental-wise, he is ready. The guy goes in there and he plays just as good as anybody else on the field, which at this point, that's not saying much. I just, before we put all the weight on him, and don't get me wrong, after yesterday's game, I'm starting to put weight on him. I'm not to the point where I'm going to keep defending him, because if it's going to keep going on week after week and things aren't getting better, yes, I will jump in and comment on it. I just think that there's a big coaching situation involved in this as well. I don't know to what extent. I don't know to what but he's not playing the way that he can play. He's a very athletic guy. He can move around a lot. And when he does, he gets out of the pocket. He finds receivers downfield. When he can break out of the pocket, he could, run and get a first down. He's very capable of doing these things. But I can see from just seeing the guy that I've watched play for a couple of years, they're not allowing him to play a full. And here's the thing, like I said, you have to let him do one or the other. Either let him go fuck up and learn, or try to improve him to make this season better. And neither of those things are happening. I just don't see where things are improving with this quarterback situation. The quarterbacks, yes, they have to play better, of course, but there has to be something within the coaching where it's going to help this guy get a little better and help him play a little better. And in the play calling, it isn't that. Like I said, there's so many fucking things going on right now with this team, and every week it's something different. Next week we could be harping on this person or that person. I don't totally disagree with you. Yeah. I am starting to get a little bit fiery about Kenny. He does need to step up his act, but I don't think it's on any lack of wanting to learn, any lack of wanting to get out there and participate. I think that he's very willing to play and very capable of playing in this league. I think that he's a good quarterback, and like you said, whether he's going to be an average quarterback, a franchise quarterback, a below average quarterback, we don't know. He's played 4 games in the NFL. That still remains to be seen. I think that Peyton Manning stunk in his first year. I think that Troy Aikman stunk in his first year, and I think that Terry Bradshaw stunk in his first year. So, can we really sit here and say that pro-ready quarterbacks that come out that turn out to be Hall of Famers come out the cut crisp and doing everything perfect? No, that doesn't happen. It's not realistic. But like you said, there's definitely areas with Kenny that certainly needs to improve if he is going to get better.
I just love how everyone wants to compare him to Troy Aikman, Bradshaw, Roethlisberger. Oh, look at Manning. Look at their rookie years. Well, Manning came out, Aikman came out. They had more than one good year in college. They had more than one good year. So you saw it every year in, year out from these guys that they consistently put up numbers, and they had the tools to play in the pros at that point. Ben, he came from a smaller school, but you saw, this big guy got a big arm. He can read defense. He's athletic. He can play. Yeah, he was supposed to be a project. Came in and lit up the league. Kenny, Pitt fans wanted him gone before his 5th senior year. They wanted him gone. Everyone seems to forget that everyone would say, if we had a better quarterback, this team would win. Then he had one good year, and everyone forgets all the criticisms they had from him up until that point, and they just look at that one year that he had that was good. That was an outlying year. He had one good year in college. Now everyone wants to forget the 3 bad years where he had one or two up nowhere that no one thought he had.
Undefeated Clemson, yeah.
Yeah, he had beat Miami, beat Clemson. And people thought, oh my God, how did we do it? This guy, it was a fluke from him. He had that terrible bowl game. People were like, oh my God, he's a joke. And then last year, even going into last season, people were like, oh my God, he's a joke. Then he started playing well. I was like, oh, how well can he keep it up? And then halfway through the season, everyone just started worshiping him. He had one good year, whereas all these other quarterbacks showed throughout their college career they were good year in, year out. This guy had one good year. So these high expectations are crazy. This is why 19 teams passed on him in the draft. A lot of these teams needed quarterbacks, and they passed on him. No other quarterback was drafted till the 3rd round. That tells you a lot about this quarterback class. There was no real first-round pick. We've reached on him, and it's showing. People want to say Ben got lucky with his situation. He had this team that was ready to win. Well, they had a losing record when he got there. And all of a sudden they get him, and they go 15-1. This team finished 9-8 or 8-1. So they had a better record than he's coming in, and he hasn't done shit.
I think we came off of a playoff loss on Ben's rookie year. It became
Something
the
like
next
that. We weren't that good. Of a
year.
team
We beat the Michael Jackson.
We had the 11th overall pick when
we had beat Michael Jackson in the Browns in the playoffs. Then we lost to Tennessee in a crazy finish.
Yeah, but like
here's the thing. I mean, if you get a guy, you pick a quarterback at 20, you really can't expect a guy that picked at 20 to be a Ben Roethlisberger. At 20,
we picked Ben at 11. It's a 9-spot difference.
That's a big difference. Yes.
Ben was the third quarterback taken. This guy was the first quarterback taken.
That's what I'm saying.
Ben's rookie year, he led comeback victories over good teams. This guy hasn't.
And the guys that played with him decided they wanted to catch the ball, and the guys on defense decided they wanted to intercept the ball.
The guys that Kenny decided that we're going to catch the ball were the defensive backs for the
Ben
Dolphins.
didn't necessarily tear the league apart his rookie year.
You go back and watch those games.
Ben didn't make mistakes. Ben played safe, conservative.
He made a play. This guy doesn't.
He played very conservative, and he did exactly what the coaches told him to do. And it was a good team.
5.8 touchdown percentage for Ben compared to 3.7 interception percentage.
They're two different people.
Right now,
you're really expecting the same exact results from a Hall of Fame quarterback? Is that what you're telling me? Is that what you're telling me? You're telling me
this is the best quarterback to come out of college. He's so pro ready. He should be putting up this.
No, he shouldn't. They're two different people. He's going to put up his own kind of numbers.
He went to the ACC, which everyone around here wants to tell me is a great conference. Ben
came
out of the MAC. He came out of the MAC, and he.
I want to talk to whoever's telling you the ACC is a good conference for one, because I'll tell you otherwise.
Look how many teams are ranked in the top 25 out of the ACC.
They're not great teams. Look at North Carolina. I mean, these are the teams that are in there. They're not fantastic teams.
Clemson came out. Well, then finally we got to take all those ones. Then that win where he beat Clemson doesn't mean anything now. Where he beat Miami, those don't mean anything now because the ACC is not a good conference. Those teams suck.
Well, that's totally
Clemson didn't win a national championship. They suck.
That's totally different. You're it's apples and oranges. Yeah. So what's going on?
I'm saying the ACC is not good.
If Penn State could ever upset a team that went undefeated, that would be fun and everything. But the fact is that Pitt did it, and it was Kenny, and it was the number one team, and they went undefeated, and they won the national championship.
And then everyone said he sucked. Then it was a fluky win for him because he sucked. They wanted a new quarterback last year.
See, I don't know who these everybody's are that you're talking about. You say everybody. I don't ever hear these everybody's. I don't.
You were even saying, "Oh man, we need a different quarterback than Kenny Pickett." Then Kenny started winning last year. Like, hey man, this guy's good.
Well, he improved. He showed signs to be
he should have been. He was 24 years old and he's playing against 18
that's
years old.
You and Collinsworth with the 24 and the 22. 2 years ain't shit. Let me tell you something. I'm 44 years old, and 2 years ain't shit. And when you play sports, this is narrative. This is announcer. This is analytic narrative. And the fact of the matter is, he's the quarterback. It don't matter if he's 35. It don't matter if he's 22. He has to be able to play better football. And that's what it comes down to. They threw their chips in on this guy. What are you going to do? You can't do nothing at this point.
They fucked up. They drafted someone they didn't need to draft in the first round the past 2 years.
And these receivers that can't catch. I say we've been fucking up for years then because these guys still can't catch a ball. Deontay Johnson's been on this team for how long, and he still has dropping issues. Yeah. Bro, you want number one. You want top receiver money. You can't catch a ball, cuz. And Chase Claypool really hasn't shown anything, Mike. I mean, that rookie season. So we're just terrible at drafting. Maybe that's the case. Yeah. Maybe this team's just terrible. It's just the thing is, I'm not sticking up for Kenny. I'm not. I'm just saying it's a little bit ridiculous that the way that people are coming at him. Which again, that's your right. You're the media. You're the podcast. You could do that. That's fine. But
everyone is like defending Kenny. Oh, it's okay. It's okay. He's better in the long run. Apparently, winning doesn't matter anymore because he threw 2 games.
That's what I'm saying. These coaches have to shit or get off the pot. Decide if we want to win or decide if we don't want to win. And that you can't keep this in limbo like this because on one hand you have to let him throw the ball around, make his mistakes so he can get better. On the other hand, you can throw 5 chip, and maybe you might win, maybe you might not. There's so much, but you're right. Kenny is not performing up to where he should be. I agree with you 100% on that.
It's just been Him and Najee, man, the past 2 first-round picks have been very disappointing.
And Najee, I mean,
He
had a fantastic year last year. What are you talking about? He's disappointing. Last year he was one of the best back. He was one of the best young backs in the league with total yards and receiving yards out of the backfield.
This year he hasn't.
It's this team. This team stinks.
He shows flashes, but right now Jalen Warren.
And that is not Kenny's fault there.
Oh no. I'm not blaming Kenny.
Now, let me throw out one stat for you, Mike. This Steelers team has played the NFL's toughest schedule of defenses. The toughest. Is that an excuse? No. But generally, when you have a good team, it's still a difficult feat. If you have your starting quarterback, like, say, a Ben Roethlisberger, even, just a regular average starting quarterback, when you play the best defenses in the league, you struggle. Again, not making any excuses for Kenny. Again, not making any excuses for the rest of the skill players on offense, because I think all 5 skill players on his team right now need to get a head check. But you play all best defenses, you're going to struggle, of course. I hope to see it get better. I don't think it's going to get better this week. Philadelphia is going to be a tough one. I was giving my prediction to the Steelers last week. I might just change that after what I seen yesterday. But the Philadelphia Eagles, Mike, we got Philadelphia this week, the only undefeated team left. And that is one thing that is in common with Big Ben's rookie season, was the Philadelphia Eagles were also undefeated that year when we got to play them.
Yeah, and Ben beat the Eagles, he beat the Cowboys, and he beat the Patriots. What was it, like in back-to-back weeks or some shit like that?
Deuce Staley actually did a lot of that damage. I don't know if you recall. Ben did very little.
Ben led the comeback victory against Dallas. No one ever.
I remember them playing down. Remember the New England and Philadelphia back-to-back. Those were the 2 big games.
Hey, Ben knew how to make plays.
Who the hell did Dallas even have back then?
Ben could have came out of the stands last week and won.
Was it that redheaded guy, the coach, what the hell?
Jason Garrett.
Was it? I think Jason Garrett was their coach back then, dude.
Yeah. And Tony Romo was their quarterback.
And Romo came along. I think that, yeah. So, I don't know. Around the league, Bud Dupree has 1 sack. 1 sack.
Hey, Highsmith, that's your future if you leave Pittsburgh. Take the hometown discount, buddy.
Also around the NFL a little bit, Dalton with the loss the other night, that Saints game. He dropped to 0-2, Mike. 0-2 in primetime games.
Just 0-2? I thought he did.
Or 0-12, I'm sorry. What did I say, 0-2?
You said 0-2.
So 0-12 in primetime games. So not only is Dalton...
Remember, like, when he was supposed to be he was the revelation in Cincinnati. He's their god. He's just going to take that team back to make them the greatest team ever, and I love it.
Couple other, Todd Gurley throwing in the towel. Todd Gurley announced his retirement over the weekend.
He was a good back.
He was damn good back. Accumulated a lot of yards in a short period of time.
Like 2 Pro Bowl seasons. So yeah, I always liked Gurley.
And the other big one from the weekend, Mike, around the league is Christian McCaffrey. Now, he actually played a lot more than I figured he was going to play. He came over from Carolina, not real familiar with the playbook, but when you're a smart guy, you figure these things out. He gets out there, he's ripping, he's roaring. I don't know what he finished with, but I know the first 3 carries of the game when he got in, they were all 10-yard runs. Then he got a 13-yard reception. Unfortunately, the 49ers fell short to the Kansas City Chiefs, but I think that this is going to make San Francisco that much more powerful. I mean, you Deebo Samuel, Jimmy G back there. I mean, Jimmy G is another one of these guys. You know what I mean? He's not going to do anything super, but as long as he plays smart enough, they should be okay. Kittle, was that his name? George Kittle. Yep. So they got good skill players over there in San Francisco, and I think this picking McCaffrey up was pretty big for him.
Yeah, but there's only one football to go around. That's just the thing. I know they needed a better running back. They got him, but I'm kind of disappointed in their defense, man.
Yeah, the defense.
I'm looking at their defense. They got some players on that defense. Mm-hmm. It's just, the defense is letting them down, and I don't know.
And I don't know. Another thing that I learned this weekend, Mike, was the Browns. Now, I might have even said this earlier. I don't know. I just get a big kick out of this. Anytime the Browns fans decide to start talking trash on your Steelers here, just turn to them and simply say, the Browns haven't won a division since 1989. Mike, they haven't won the division since 1989.
I love it. It's great. It's like when Flyers fans start talking shit on the Penguins.
Yeah.
It's like, have you seen the Flyers win a cup? And like Cleveland, have you? Yeah, you may be having a better year this year, but okay, you have, you know, yeah, this year sucks for me and my team, but I have years to look back on that weren't too far away to go, hey, we were right there in the thick of things. We had, yeah, you beat us in the playoffs that one year, but that's not all you got. But you haven't not won the division.
Here's the thing, too. Not only have they never won a division, they've never been to the Super Bowl.
Well, we got NFL championships. No one cares about that. No one no one cares. No one.
When is people in Cleveland going to realize that don't count?
Like it's after the merger.
Yeah.
Anything like that's pre-merger. That's cool. That's cool. This is the after the mergers when everything counts.
If you want to talk about football where nobody cares about, then go ahead.
When you had the AFL versus the NFL in Super Bowl 1 and 2, and then you have the merger. That's when everything counts from Super Bowl 1 on. No one cares about. I was like BC 80 changeover. You had to go buy a new clock. It's about that BC stuff. It's all about what happened now.
Yeah.
From a certain point on, it's the line of demarcation. No one gives a fuck.
And we're walking around with the most hardware in the league, and you have Brown fans prodding at us. For one, you're in no better than we are. We're sitting there tied with your stupid asses, And
you sucked for how long? And the Steelers finally have a bad year.
Yeah, and these people that they're the most entertaining. I barely ever rebut what they say because I find it pretty entertaining because like you're really justifying all this shit by. Again,
you beat us in our in the playoffs when we went head to head. That's cool, but longevity
that's not anything. Yes,
okay, that was
you win, you lose. You don't win them all.
Yeah,
and the fact that they beat us once. Yeah. Oh my God, you haven't won a division since 1989. You never been to a Super Bowl, let alone won one. Go ahead. Nobody gives a fuck that you're talking shit on our team. Believe me.
I talk more shit on my team than you do.
Yeah, right. So, of course, the final score last night in the game was 16-10. The Miami Dolphins pull out the victory. They were calling it like the Concussion Bowl.
Yeah, that's what I think. I got a concussion sitting there watching this morning. Okay, did Kenny was in the protocol? Was he actually diagnosed with a concussion?
I don't know.
That's what because I know he was in protocol, but like you can be in the protocol and not have a concussion.
I don't even fucking know.
Like you have like the symptoms of, but I don't know if you.
I got symptoms of fucking concussion. I haven't been hitting the head in 30 years.
Well, that's just you.
Also, Mike, some other football. The Minnesota. What are they? The Minnesota
Vikings.
Golden Gophers.
Oh, college football. Yeah,
what a dumb name, the Golden Gophers. But anyway, Penn State beats Minnesota Golden Gophers 45-17. I'm sorry. Yeah. Penn State jumps up from 16-13, but their next game, the big one for me, is next week against the number 2 Ohio State. I can't wait. I'm because I pick my picks right all the time. Mm-hmm. You should really pay attention. But I'm taking the Penn State Nittany Lions over Ohio State, biggest upset of the season.
Oh, God, no. We're going to get steamrolled. Although it should be fun, hopefully, because Penn State has Jerry Porter Jr., one of the best corners in college football, and Ohio State has some of the best wide receivers in college football, one of them being Marvin Harrison Jr. I want to see those two line up against each other.
Yeah.
Make it happen. I want to see it. But I think that Ohio State team, they haven't beaten anyone this year to be ranked number 2. It's laughable. And they'll make it into the playoffs and get beat like they always do. But they are the class of the Big Ten, and the Big Ten is really not that good. I'm looking at like how the hell is Illinois ranked 17?
I seen that. I know what.
Michigan number 4, Ohio State 2, Penn State 13. But Penn State's not in the top 10, so I give us a chance because every time we get into the top 10, we blow it. But we're over 15. We're in that range, but I still think Ohio State's going to win. But it is at Happy Valley. But it's only a noon game, so the college kids don't have a lot of time to get drunk before the game get all rowdy.
Now you want to talk about bad quarterbacking?
Penn State?
This quarterback over at Pitt, Mike.
Oh,
Mike.
Oh.
This kid, he's not a quarterback, and you're telling me that this is the best person you have on your sideline that could play quarterback. You're in bad shape. This kid can't even throw, Mike. You're a college quarterback at a Division I school, and you can't throw? Bro, he's throwing the same patterns that they have Kenny Pickett throwing in the NFL. It's just he's short. You know what? If Abanikanda if he gets stopped, if he doesn't run for 200 yards, this team has zero chance of winning because this quarterback has zero ability. And I'm not just saying that to be, he has zero ability. It's a bad quarterback. And they look at this kid like he's some guy. Get the fuck out of here.
He had a good year in 2019, 30 touchdowns, 9 picks. Well, that was on a pretty good USC team. And after that, it's just gone downhill from him. 17 touchdowns.
I can't imagine him.
8. He's the reverse Kenny Pickett. He's the reverse Kenny Pickett. He had that one good year his freshman year, and it's gotten progressively worse, whereas Kenny got progressively better exponentially during his last year.
This kid,
the reverse.
It is pathetic. Do yourself, and here's the thing, you're playing not so great teams. And take a minute just to watch some of his highlights, Mike. He's real bad. He's real bad.
Yeah, I seen him play a little bit. I'm like, oh, doesn't make me feel that bad about Sean Clifford anymore.
I can't even believe that they have the.
He is.
Hey, stubborn boy. What's up, my man? I just can't believe it. I would put somebody else out there. I'd put anybody out there.
Yeah. I'm looking at their depth. I don't know who these guys are on their depth chart because I barely even know my team's depth chart. I don't even know who's second in line on this team. I've heard Nick Patty's name. I don't know if he's their number 2 right now. He's like the 4th quarterback listed on ESPN, but that doesn't mean anything. I don't know their depth chart, but you got to try something else. You have to.
It's real bad over there, man. I would be embarrassed. I would be embarrassed to field the team with that quarterback at Pitt. Slovis, he's a grade A turd. The Pittsburgh Penguins get the win, another win by scoring 6 goals over the weekend. They beat the Columbus Blue Jackets 6-3 on the road over in Columbus. Mike, that is 4 out of 5 games where they scored 6 goals. In the only other game they played was an overtime loss where they still gained a point. How many games can you score 6? This got to be a record, right?
I know for the Penguins it is. I think we haven't done this since 88, 89 season. I read somewhere along there. Yeah, it was right before we won the first 2 cups. They've been clicking at this pace. It is unreal. Unreal.
It's really fun to watch. The Penguins play. They're at Edmonton tonight at 8:00. If you want to check that out.
Yeah. Real quick, Dayton Heinen.
Yeah.
Dayton Heinen, $1.1 million contract. This dude is playing out of his mind. Talk about a steal. The guy, he's betting on himself. He took that the hometown discount.
Yeah.
And if he keeps putting up numbers like this guy is going to make himself some money. He had 6 points through 5 games, 3-3, 3 goals, 3 assists.
Penguins, real quick. We mentioned the other day that Mike Sullivan got his 300th win. Let me give you a quick rundown, Mike, of the top 5 coaches in Penguin history. Of course, Mike Sullivan with 300 wins. Dan Bylsma had 252 wins. Eddie Johnston had 232. Michelle Theriot 135 and Scotty Bowman 95. That's some wins, my man. We've been lucky to have some pretty good coaches.
Yeah, was Badger Bob Johnson on that list?
Yes, I said Bob Johnson. You're right. 232. Eddie Johnson. Bob Johnson. Who's Eddie Johnson? I don't even know.
Eddie Johnson. He coached for us a little bit. God, man, he's been the organization forever, coaching front office, stuff like that. He's the coach who got hit in the head with the puck and they kept putting the butterfly bandages on back in the day. Yeah. When he had 80 of them on his head, he's still bleeding. He's coaching.
Yeah.
Blood coming out of his head. Yeah. But no, that's some Bowles. There's Scotty Bowman Hall of Fame, Badger Bob Johnson Hall of Fame. Sully is going to he should end up in the Hall of Fame too.
And Michelle Theriot, he accumulated 135 wins pretty fast.
That's surprising. He's still one of the greatest news conferences ever. Talking about the team. They soft.
Yeah.
Not soft. Soft. It's soft. And this guy hated Brooks Orpik too for some reason. He would barely play him and just dog him. And Brooks Orpik was the only physical player we had at that point.
Yeah.
I just always cracked me up. We soft. But you love Brooks Orpik. He hitting people. He's soft. I just love Michelle Theriot. But he's one of those coaches. You needed him along the way to teach. The way he wanted them to play defensive hockey, play 2-way hockey.
Yeah.
So they had a lot of coaches along the way that you can see where they eventually the players started to tune them out, but they carried those lessons from coach to coach to coach.
Right.
And each little coach has molded them a little different in the Crosby era. They've taken something from every single coaching staff, which you don't see in a lot of sports, because usually like once your coaching staffs leave, like everything they just discard whatever they learned under that coach, and we're just gonna do whatever this new coach wanted.
Right.
They've taken little bits and pieces the players have, like being defensively responsible, playing smart two-way hockey, knowing when to join the rush and stuff. It's this era of Penguin hockey has been outstanding, and and Mike Sullivan, I like giving him shit sometimes, but great character. I'm glad they have him.
We'll jump over the diamond, Mike. The World Series is set. The Houston Astros sweep, not only beat the New York Yankees, but they sweep the Evil Empire to get into the World Series, and they do. They play a team who got in pretty convincingly on the other side. The Philadelphia Phillies beat the San Diego Padres 4-1.
Mm-hmm.
So a total of 8 games to 1. The teams that are heading to the World Series. Game 1 is on Friday. Friday is game 1 of the World Series. Everybody,
I love how much as I hate Philadelphia, just because we're from Pittsburgh area. You have to hate them, but their fans, they are so, and those people were just going nuts in the stands. That makes it fun to watch the game, because I hate baseball. Baseball to me is boring, but just how out of control they were, just having a great time, just totally into it, every pitch, every at bat. And then they were greasing up the lamp poles in Philadelphia so those idiots wouldn't climb them and damage them.
Yeah,
that town knows. They're like, our fans are liquored up idiots, and we got to take precautions. And you know what? Well done by the city getting that ready for that, because we know what happened the last time they won a championship. My man was eating horse manure. I love it. I can't wait. I'm kind of rooting for them.
I'm taking the Astros. I want the Astros to win.
I want the Astros to win too, and I want them to come out after they get the trophy and everything. Yeah, we stealing signs again.
Yeah, right.
Just troll people. This is the World Series that baseball did not want. They wanted the Yankees. Oh, they wanted the Yankees Phillies. Now you're getting Houston and Philly. Oh, it's going to be a good one.
Mike, we got about 18 minutes on the show left. Let's touch on these picks real quick, see how we did.
I'm afraid. I don't remember who I picked. It's gonna be a rough one.
We're gonna start with a team that we both picked, Mike. The Browns versus the Ravens. We both took the Ravens in that game, and the Ravens won.
All right, that's what I'm talking about.
Buccaneers and Panthers. Mike took the Buccaneers. Ryan took the Panthers. So I got that one because I think that they won 21-3, if I'm not mistaken. Pull the scores up, Mike, from yesterday to just confirm, so we make no mistakes.
Making me do work. All right.
Okay. So we tied out on that Ravens one. There's I won Panthers. You took the Buck. All right. The next game, we both took the Bengals over the Falcons.
Bengals won.
Excuse me. This next one here is killing me. It's been killing me all year because like I said, I got away from taking the Lions for a couple weeks. For whatever reason, I went and I took them against the Cowboys. And I thought, well, you know what, Dak Prescott, and he's coming back. And, but you did. You won that one, Mike. You took the Cowboys.
I did. I'm smart. Or lucky.
This one here, you got lucky. The Giants and Jaguars. I had this one all the way to the end. The Giants got lucky somehow. They squeezed by them. I think the Giants only have one loss. I can't think of this team as one of the better teams.
They keep beating everyone who's in front of them though. They've had one of the easiest schedules when you look at it, but hey man, they're winning. I can't knock them. As much as I want to, it's hard to knock them.
These New York teams, you got to show me a lot more than this. We'll get to the other one in a second. But you did. You won that game. You got the Giants. I took the Jags. I also took the Packers, and for some reason, you took Washington.
I just had a feeling. Who started for quarterback for? They were starting their backup quarterback. The Commanders were.
Oh, were they?
Yeah. What's his nuts? Yeah, but they won, man. You never bet against Tyler Heineke. When it comes to between Rodgers and Heineke, you take Heineke all day long.
We both took the Titans over the Colts.
Who won that game?
Titans.
Yeah.
The Raiders and the Texans. We both took the Raiders. To be honest, I don't even think I've seen that score one fucking time.
Neither did I. Yeah,
What was the count on that?
38-20.
38-20.
Yeah, they scored 21 in the
Raiders.
fourth quarter, man.
All right, so you're up 3 games to 1 right now. We both took the Jets over the Broncos. And that's another one. As good as the Jets are doing, I just can't give these they stink. New York football teams stink. They always have. They always will. The Giants are one of these teams. They get a good team every 10 years. They win a Super Bowl and then they go away. The Jets, same thing. They win a Super Bowl every 50 years and then they go away. But I don't know what to think of these New York teams. I refuse to jump on the bandwagon yet. I'd like to see the Jets do well. Mike would like to see the Giants. However, you just don't know with these teams.
Yeah, I know.
They're both looking good though. But we both took the Jets, so nobody wins that. I got the Chiefs. You got the Niners. Chiefs won that game.
Yeah, I fucked up there.
You took the Seahawks, who they won over the Chargers, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, what the hell's going on with the Chargers, man?
That's right.
I'm disappointed in them, but I'm glad I picked against them.
And then I took the Steelers, of course.
Dumbass.
So
I want them to win every game, believe me.
Now, okay, so we both picked the Patriots for tonight's game, so it's insignificant. It looks like you won. Let me just do a final official count. You sit there and look pretty for a minute.
I always look pretty.
So Ryan has 1, 2, 2. Mike has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Mike, you won 5-2. This week you maintain the crown.
It's around here somewhere.
It's over in your area somewhere.
Drunken celebrations. It's it's like the Stanley Cup over here, man.
So this week, as far as unexpected, I think everybody pretty much did what we expected this week. Not too many big surprises.
Yeah.
Besides the Buccaneers, would be the only one that I would really say the Buccaneers getting pounced on by the Panthers, who just lost their starting running back and all these other issues.
Like the front office has gone into tank mode, and the players are like, "F that."
Yeah,
I like that. I like when the players are like, "No, we're not tanking. You may want us to tank, but we're not."
Yeah. And the other game, Mike, obviously, I think would be the Washington beating the Packers would be my other surprise game. I don't think that the Packers are anything crazy good this year. However, I don't really think highly of the Washington football team either. So I think that would be the other surprise for me.
Yeah, me too.
So that's our picks, Mike. That is our picks, which now leads us to news story for today. Daycare workers in Mississippi who scared kids with horror masks on, they're charged with felonies, Mike. Felonies. They went to these daycares, that's pre-kindergarten, 4, 3, 2 years old. They walk in with their scary, I think they'd scream and a couple other masks, getting in their grill, scaring them.
Yeah.
They are now all facing felony charges.
I saw this, and I'm like, it's different, like if it's your own kid.
Yeah.
And you're doing that at home, and hey, it's his mommy, dad.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Yeah. But when you're at a daycare, like you're gonna tell me, hey, we're gonna have dress up day. Okay, you're thinking cool, but you're not thinking they're coming in with those scary masks.
You're right.
So I think they should have been fired. All should have been fired. Because that's just the making it a felony, man. Whew. I don't know. I just don't. I don't know what the charge is. I could, that is like a form of child abuse.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because they're not strangers, but they're still not. It's not like it's your family messing around. It's not like a big brother messing with the little brother and stuff like that. Mommy and daddy messing with the kids. You take your kid to daycare. You're not expecting that.
Absolutely not. It's a big change from the day when we used to go to school when there was clowns, and that was horrifying, but nonetheless, they were clowns.
Clowns are cute.
Clowns are,
yeah, I know.
Yeah. And other things, and the vampires, and things like that. And
but I saw those masks. Yeah, if I was that little, I'd be freaked out too.
Yeah, and they were up in their grill. I seen a picture like where this dude was up in his kid's grill.
They were opening their grill. Yeah. I'm not gonna say no. I didn't laugh at first, and I realized what happened, and I felt bad for laughing.
Yeah.
Because I just saw the pictures, and then I read the headline, like, oh yeah, that ain't good.
Florida residents left freaked out after a machete-wielding man knocks on their doors in this neighborhood. Still to this day, nobody knows who the guy is, Mike. They got the doorbells that you could see, with the cameras now.
Yeah.
And this guy in this Florida neighborhood who just kept going from house to house with a machete that nobody knew, ringing everyone's doorbells.
Well, you hear, not to go off on like a rant or a tangent, but you always hear like people down south, oh man, we got our guns, ain't no one gonna bother us. No, apparently so. You're just gonna show up with a mask and a machete.
But is Florida the South? I don't
Yeah,
know.
Florida's the South.
South is like Alabama, Mississippi,
That is
Arkansas.
true. That is true. Look at Alabama.
Florida's a whole different thing, I think.
Yeah, Florida's. Yeah.
Belgium, Mike, in Belgium, you could rent a fish for the night in this hotel. It's a Belgium hotel. So if you ever go back to your hotel and you're lonely and you're sitting there and you're on your phone and you're just thinking, okay, you could rent a fish to be a companion.
I like it. I dig it. Could you like when you have a fish tank and you watch the fish, it's proven that it relaxes.
Yeah.
It's just like it's kind of like the same principle like throughout the woods. You got a fire going, you just stare at the fire, you get lost into it, and you relax. Same thing with like a fish tank, you just get lost. You hear like the bubble sound going, it's nice and relaxing, it's soothing. You got your little fishy swimming around. Yeah. Screw getting the porn, man. You got to pay for that. Give me the fish.
I want the porn. I would rather have the porn.
Give me both, but
Yeah.
I'd have to cover the fish when I start pounding one out. You don't want to traumatize.
Yeah, you don't want
fish. You don't want to traumatize.
That would just be weird. The
That'd be
fish
weird.
scene.
Yeah. But then you got to worry about like people nutting in there with the fish because people come all over the place in hotel rooms.
Like in the fishbowl.
Yeah, be some freak out there doing it. I'm not gonna name names.
Motorhead joined the crowd. Over the past 20 years, maybe a little bit longer, when you became a name, when you're famous, you'd write a book. But now the thing is for famous people is to own their own alcohol. I know that Snoop Dogg has alcohol. I know that Wiz Khalifa has alcohol. Motorhead vodka has joined the game, Mike.
I like how they went with vodka because that was like the last thing Lemmy had to drink because he had to switch from whiskey to vodka because his liver couldn't handle the whiskey anymore. So I wonder if that's a slight little tribute to Lemmy Kilmister.
I would just think that
I don't drink vodka anymore because I drank so much when I was younger and it makes me sick now. But I would buy a bottle of.
I just think that once you have your own alcohol, you made it.
Yeah, it's like they have vodka. Metallica has the blackened whiskey.
Yes.
I need to get 2 bottles of each.
Speaking of the okay, so Matthew Perry, you remember Matthew Perry?
Yeah.
He played on the show Friends back in the day,
Watch movies
wildly
together.
popular.
Yeah.
And apparently, now Matthew Perry, everybody knew he had some drug issues, but his opioid addiction. Now, I think you're unable to poop. People get very, very constipated when they were on, a heroin, the pills, whatever. Matthew Perry, he revealed, Mike, he had a 2% chance of surviving. He had a 2% chance of living after his colon bursted because he couldn't shit forever. He was an opioid addict. His colon burst.
See, I didn't know that.
2% chance to live.
I saw the one where it cost him $9 million in for rehab. I didn't read the colon bursting. That's nuts.
Yeah.
Lucky to be alive after that. Damn. But yeah, I knew he had drug problems. He like on the show, he ballooned up.
Yeah.
Because he was always a real skinny, like in shape, not in shape, but just like a skinny guy, kind of healthy looking.
Didn't appear to be out of shape.
Yeah, but then he got, you can see it, like all of a sudden he just got bloated. Like, oh, it's either alcohol or pills. And knew it was bad, didn't realize it was that bad. That's insane. Drugs are bad, okay? That's why you stick to weed, people. Stick to weed.
Escape the Undertaker. If you're looking for a new show, you have all these Halloween scary shows that are coming on with, especially following Dahmer. I don't know. There's a handful of them, Mike. One's got, you've seen them.
Yep.
Now, added to the list is Escape the Undertaker on Netflix. It actually is exactly what it sounds like. The Undertaker is who you're trying to escape. And yes, the Undertaker from the WWE is the person that's trying to murder everybody as it looks. I've never seen an episode. I am interested in checking it out. But apparently, yeah, the Undertaker's trying to kill everybody. Escape the Undertaker, everybody, on Netflix. Check it out.
Look at this cast, man. Look at this cast. You got, who did I see? We got Kofi Kingston. We got New Day.
Oh,
trying
wow.
to escape.
Eating bootios and
I want Woods to come out with his trombone. He better be playing his trombone in there. But yeah, I would. Oh, I'm looking at the kind of preview right now. We got the urn. Oh yeah, there better be a shout out to Paul Bearer in there somewhere.
You're right.
But that is great. That's great. I am definitely going to check it out. I'm not going to lie. Like it looks like mindless entertainment for Halloween, and that looks great. Well, come on, but how can you have a horror movie and all your leads are black guys? Come on now.
Yeah.
We know the only black actor I've ever seen survive a horror movie was LL Cool J. He did it twice. Deep Blue Sea and one of the Halloween movies.
Was he in the No, he wasn't. Remember The House of Wax with Paris Hilton? He wasn't in that as well, was he? Or was that was another guy?
Oh, hold on. Let me take a look.
Yeah, while you go ahead and look at that, I just want to throw out there that the Smashing Pumpkins came in clutch. Over the weekend, Saturday night, there was a big concert in Pittsburgh, and Jane's Addiction, they canceled at the last moment. I'm not real sure why. I don't know what the issue was, but Smashing Pumpkins, they came in clutch. They filled the spot, and people love them. So you got to get out and see Smashing Pumpkins Saturday. That's awesome.
It was not LL Cool J.
It was not?
No.
Okay. Mike, here's one for you. Kanye West wants to build his own city. He wants to call the ecosystem YECO system.
Oh, Kanye!
The crazier he sounds, the more I'm attracted to him in a way. You know, it just his
because he's killed the Jews.
Well, no, not kill the Jews, but he's it's something.
I know what you mean.
Bizarre and different every day with him.
It's like a train wreck. You can't look away.
Yeah.
Like you literally one day, he went from what George Bush hates black people to riding with Trump to hating the Jews to like
White Lives Matter t-shirts.
Yeah, he is. My man is just doing anything he can for attention right now, and he's a whack job. I don't like him, but it's just hard not to watch.
I'm starting to like him a little bit more now.
Just because he's so off the line. I know what he's going to say.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I try to stay away from him because it's like, oh, God, you're an idiot. But then you read the stuff and it's like, you're an idiot, but you can't help but, like, you get caught up into it. Like, you don't want to.
Right.
But you get caught up into it either way. Either, like, if you support him or you don't, or even if you're indifferent towards him, you get caught up into it because you can't look away. You never know what he's going to say next.
And everybody, that was our news for the day. Mike, why don't you go tell everybody about the website?
TwoDumbYinzers.com. You head over there. We have links to YouTube where, you boom, pop right in. The first link you see is YouTube today's episode. Then we have links to Spotify. You want to go back and just listen to the old episodes and not watch us. I don't know why you don't like this beautiful face. Yeah. Shut up, you. And then we have links to all of our social media over there. We have links to our email address. Send in emails, comments, questions. Don't send any concerns in.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Why is everything you use Secker in front of your puppet over there? All the way from the day that you had the pumpkin with the stem.
Yeah, now the
microphone. There's not been one day that there
his mouth is always open. Like,
yeah.
You want this? Like I feel like my puppet is sexually harassing everyone. Like me, you, the listeners.
I love it.
I'm kind of uncomfortable.
All right, we got the trivia. So this week we switch it up, Mike. Last week it was the Dolphins. This is how well do we know our enemy. This week is going to be the Philadelphia Eagles, the hated Philadelphia teams. So your questions this week, Mike, for the trivia are going to be questions about the Philadelphia Eagles. I know. I know. I don't want to do this as much as you do, but all right. You ready?
Yep.
You got your pencil?
Yep.
All right. Here we go. What Eagles defensive end posted 21 sacks in 1987? One more time. What Eagles defensive end posted 21 sacks in 1987?
I think I know this one. It's the only one coming to my mind.
All right, pencils down, everybody. Question of the day. What Eagles defensive end posted 21 sacks in 1987? Mike, who is your answer?
Reggie White.
Reggie White. Is that your final answer?
Yes.
All right, let's lock it in. Reggie White, locked in. Okay. All right. What Eagles defensive end posted 21 sacks in 1987? Mike says Reggie White. And of course, the answer is. That is correct. Reggie White, the great defensive end, many years in Philadelphia before he went and played the rest of his career in Green Bay, where he continued to be a threat from the defensive end position. He was a big time sacker, Mike. Reggie White. There you go. Mike, do you have anything before we take off today, man?
Yeah. Kenny Pickett's not franchise quarterback. Deal with it. Get some copium. He's not who you thought he was. Yeah, I got to leave on a negative note. I'm sorry.
Oh, there you go. We didn't expect to not hear from the peanut gallery before we took off for today.
Right? I'm like Statler and Waldorf.
Mike, tomorrow I got a new song. It's a song that the guys that Hit 'em Hard did. Antoine shot it over to me last night. It's just a new one of theirs, so we're going to listen to that tomorrow. Good stuff. And also, like Mike said, check out the website at www.2windsors.com, www.2windsors.com. We are on all 5 days throughout the week, Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. So please continue to check us out. In this particular show that we do every day will get uploaded at 8 o'clock in the evening of the same day. And then that way you can listen to that over on podcast form on Spotify. So either here on YouTube, you can watch, Spotify, you can listen. But hey, for Ryan, Mike, the Two Dumb Yinzers, have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow.
Deuces. Okay. What did I do? I can't end the stream.